This is News Hour on Ifako Radio. Good morning, I'm Olanireti, Ololade. The major headlines. 2027, Wike's PDP faction seeks stability, ends internal party disputes. India, orders rejecting imposed envoys over tenure policy. Senate clears Oyedele as Minister of State for Finance. Makoko demolition. Residents reject proposed relocation to Ekpe. Anxiety as patient goes missing after leaving Lagos Hospital. Sports. Tigers trash Colombia 70-37 World Cup qualifier opener. Entertainment. Don Jazzy reviews preferences for ideal partner. News in detail. 2027. Wike's PDP faction seeks stability, ends internal party disputes. The Nyesom Wike's aligned faction of the People's Democratic Party is seeking unity and stability as it is currently convening the 86th meeting of the Board of Trustees amid lingering leadership disputes. The chairman of the board, Mao Ounbunwa, described it as a defining moment for the party, calling for calm reflection, institutional memory, and adherence with constitutional values. He described the board as custodians of its soul, its values, and its constitutional integrity, highlighting the party's recent activities. Ounbunwa noted that world and local government congresses across the country were largely peaceful and transparent. This exercise demonstrates that the PDP remains deeply rooted in participatory democracy and the will of its members at the grassroots, he said. He added that upcoming state congresses this weekend will further consolidate this process and strengthen our party structures across the federation. Ouabunwa also spoke on Wednesday in preparation for the National Convention scheduled for March 29 and 30th, stating this will provide an opportunity for the party to further reposition itself and reaffirm its commitment to democratic principles, unity, and national service. India orders reject Tinubu's envoys over tenure policy. India and other yet to be disclosed countries, as described, have declined to accept some of President Bola Tinubu's recently posted ambassadors designate due to diplomatic policies that discourage receiving envoys from administrations with less than 2 years remaining in office. High-ranking officials in the presidency and the foreign service disclosed on Tuesday that India, where career diplomat ambassador Mohammed Dairu has been designated to serve, maintains a standing policy against accepting ambassadors from governments with tenures of less than 2 years remaining. The Asian giant is exercising its discretionary powers to turn down the Ministry of Foreign Affairs request to accept Dairu's posting. The development confirms an earlier exclusive report by this newspaper in February 2026, in which sources revealed that storms were brewing for many of Tinubu's ambassador designates who faced the prospect of rejection by host countries due to time constraints in their tenure. 3 separate sources familiar with the matter, who spoke on condition of anonymity due to the sensitive nature of the diplomatic negotiations, said the federal government was already receiving signals from New Delhi and possibly other capitals after their reluctance to grant agreements. Agreement is the formal approval given by a receiving country to accept a diplomat designated by the sending country, and it is a prerequisite before an ambassador can assume duty. They don't accept an ambassador from an administration that has less than 2 years in office, so they are giving us that body language already, the presidency official said. Senate clears Oyedele as Minister of State for Finance. The Senate yesterday confirmed renowned tax expert Taiwo Oyedele as Minister of State for Finance. The lawmakers charged him to deploy his extensive experience in fiscal policy reforms to strengthen government revenue generation and improve Nigeria's economic management. The confirmation followed the screening by the Red Chamber sitting as a committee of the whole, with Senate President Godswill Akpabio as chairman. Senators expressed confidence in his competence, pedigree, and professional accomplishments. Makoko demolition. Residents reject proposed relocation to Ekpe. Some residents of Makoko, Oko, Agbon, and Sogoro in the Yaba area of the Lagos state have kicked against their proposed relocation to the Ekpe area of the state. following the demolition of their homes and recommendations from State House of Assembly. The residents who spoke in separate exclusive interviews said they had no relocation agreement with the state government committee. The secretary of the Makoko Gunubi Students Association, Zalun Sylvester, said the communities did not have any agreement on relocating the residents to a new area. According to him, the series of agreements between the community and the state government was based on debates and suggestions without any concrete agreements reached. He said, all discussions held so far have only involved suggestions and debates between the Lagos state government and residents of the Makoko waterfront community. We are surprised that a conclusion was announced and published without the knowledge or agreement of the Makoko community. Nigeria is a democratic nation, and democracy means the people have the right to choose their future, not decisions being imposed on them without consultation. Anxiety as patient goes missing after leaving Lagos Hospital. The family of Kehinde Albert has appealed to members of the public to help locate the 42-year-old man who has been missing since February 27th. Kehinde disappeared from the General Hospital Bagada, Lagos, where he had been receiving treatment. Speaking on behalf of the family during a telephone interview on Tuesday, the missing man's elder brother, Ololade, said Kehinde had battled alcoholism for years and was preparing to begin a rehabilitation program that required him to undergo medical tests. He explained that Kehinde was taken to the hospital on February 26 alongside his twin brother for preliminary examinations ahead of the rehabilitation. According to him, while at the hospital, Kehinde suddenly developed seizures and convulsions and was immediately admitted. Ololade said he returned to the hospital the following day to purchase some prescribed drugs, leaving Kehinde in the care of his twin brother. He explained that he later saw the twin brother on the street and became worried. Later that night, I was surprised to see his twin brother on the street. When I asked why he had left Kehinde at the hospital, he said the hospital workers chased them away. However, Ololade said hospital staff told him a different story when he returned to the facility. They told me that Kehinde and his twin brother had made several attempts to run away from the hospital, but were restrained. They said that while they were scrutinizing their files, Kehinde sneaked out of the premises. That was on Friday, February 27th, around 8 p.m. We have been searching for him since then. We have already lost our mother, and Kehinde is 42 years old. We need all the help we can get to find him. When contacted, the medical director of General Hospital Bagada, Dr. Olusegun Babafemi, said the patient was properly discharged after he and his twin brother insisted on leaving the hospital and became agitated. According to him, Kehinde had initially visited the hospital for medical tests, but nearly collapsed while at the laboratory. He added that after Kehinde stabilized, his twin brother Taiwo insisted he wanted to leave the hospital. The nurse told him his brother still needs some tests before he could be discharged, and advised that a cardiologist and a psychiatrist should examine him, but the brother insisted they would not stay, he said. Babafemi said the twin brother later attempted to leave the hospital with Kehinde without authorization. According to him, hospital staff subsequently informed them that they could leave if they signed a discharge form, but they refused and became agitated. They were told that the hospital is not a prison, and that if they wanted to go, they could sign that they wished to leave. However, they refused to sign and insisted they just wanted to go, Babafemi said. He noted that hospital officials even assisted them with a registration payment when it was discovered they did not have enough money. I asked if it was because of the 1,000 naira fee that he wanted to abscond. I asked how much he had, and he said 500 naira. Our chief security officer gave him 500 naira so he could complete the payment. Someone escorted him to make the payment, and he paid the 1,000 naira, Babafemi explained. He said Kehinde was subsequently discharged after completing the process. About 2 hours later, the brother returned and said he could not find him. At our hospital, once a patient is discharged, the hospital is no longer responsible for the person unless the patient is admitted to the ward, he said. Babafemi added that the hospital has circulated Kehinde's photograph on its internal platforms and advised families to check locations he usually visits. He may have gone somewhere familiar, he added. Sports. The Tigers trashed Colombia 70-37 in World Cup qualifier opener. Nigeria's senior women's basketball team, the Tigers, began their FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup qualifying tournament campaign with a dominant 70-37 victory over Colombia at the Astrobel Arena in Villebon, France on Wednesday. The seven-time African champions opened the tournament with a commanding performance, asserting their superiority in all facets of the game as they seek to sharpen their preparation for the 2026 World Cup in Benin. Under the guidance of head coach Rena Wakama, the Nigerian side quickly set the tone with the first quarter 18-12 lead, before steadily extending the advantage in a methodological display of offensive precision and defensive discipline. By the second quarter, Nigeria had a 34-29 cushion, and the third quarter surge saw the lead balloon to 53-34. The fourth quarter was largely academic, with the Tigers maintaining their destiny to close out a 33-point victory. Nicole Enaposi was instrumental on both ends for the African champions, pulling down 11 rebounds, providing 5 assists and adding 10 crucial points in the paint. Victoria Macaulay led the scoring with 13 points and topped the efficiency chart at 19, while Palace Funaya Akwana contributed defensively with 2 blocks and crucial rebounds. Guard Ufunaya Okoro complemented the team's attacking rhythm with 2 steals and a key layup in the fourth quarter. Colombia struggled to cope with Nigeria's physicality and pace. Yuliani Pat was the only Colombian player to register double figures in efficiency with 7 and also lead a team with 5 rebounds and 3 blocks. Mabel Martinez offered 6 points, but the Colombia side could not establish any meaningful momentum after a competitive second quarter, ultimately conceding a 37-point defeat. This opening victory marked Wakama's 14th competitive win since her appointment as the Tigers coach in July 2023, extending a record 77% victories from 18 competitive matches, with losses coming against Belgium, France, and twice against the United States. The win set a positive tone for Nigeria's second game of the qualifying series against Korea on Thursday. Entertainment. Don Jazzy reveals preferences for ideal partner. Music producer and record executive Michael Collins Ajuri, popularly known as Don Jazzy, has disclosed his preferences for an ideal partner. Appearing on the Is This It Taking podcast hosted by actress Chinaza Anukam, Don Jazzy emphasized his attraction to women with calm and gentle personalities. According to him, he prioritizes a partner who is soft-spoken and easygoing, stating that he avoids conflict with tension or he avoids relationships with tension or conflict. According to him, aggressive behavior or shouting leads to a loss of interest, and he values harmony and a stress-free environment in his relationships. Recap of the major headlines. 2027. Wike's PDP faction seeks stability, ends internal party disputes. India orders reject Tinubu's envoys over tenure policy. Senate clears Oyedele as Minister of State for Finance. Makoko demolition. Residents reject proposed relocation to Ekpe. Anxiety as patients post missing after leaving Lagos Hospital. Sports. The Tigers trash Colombia 70-37 in World Cup qualifier opener. Entertainment. Don Jazzy reveals preferences for ideal partner.